The nursing mother's instincts overrode every natural alarm bell as she circled the crying, spotted bundle that had been placed beside her own 5 puppies. Bella, a 3-year-old Anatolian shepherd, had given birth just 2 days earlier in a corner of the Wildlife Rehabilitation Center where she lived with her owner, a veterinarian named Dr. Helena Okonkwo. The tiny leopard cub, barely a week old, with eyes still sealed shut, mewled desperately, a sound so similar to a puppy's cry that Bella's maternal hormones surged immediately into action. The cub's mother had been killed by poachers in the nearby Ugandan forest, and rangers had found this baby clinging to her still warm body. At the rehabilitation center, staff faced an impossible dilemma. The cub was too young to survive without mother's milk, and they had no female leopard to foster it. Hand-rearing was possible, but cubs raised entirely by humans often failed to develop proper behaviors. That's when Dr. Helena made a decision that defied conventional wisdom. She would try something that had rarely succeeded in the wild and never been documented with a leopard and dog. She placed the cub among Bella's puppies while the mother dog was briefly away. When Bella returned and discovered the spotted stranger, she froze. Her 5 golden-brown puppies, barely 48 hours old themselves, squirmed blindly beside the darker, spotted intruder. For 10 excruciating seconds, Bella sniffed the leopard cub intensely, her body tense. Dr. Helena held her breath, ready to snatch the cub away at the first sign of aggression. Then Bella did something extraordinary. She lay down, curled her body around all 6 babies, 5 puppies, and 1 leopard, and began licking the cub with the same thorough attention she gave her own offspring. The cub, driven by pure survival instinct, crawled toward the warmth and found a teat. Within minutes, the baby leopard was nursing alongside its canine siblings, tiny paws kneading Bella's belly in contentment. The rehabilitation center staff couldn't believe what they were witnessing. They named the cub Duma, Swahili for cheetah, an ironic joke since the cub was a leopard, but the name stuck. For the first month, Duma was indistinguishable from the puppies in behavior. All 6 babies slept in a pile of tangled limbs, nursed together, and cried when separated from their mother. Bella showed no favoritism, grooming each baby with equal dedication, correcting them with gentle nips when they got too rough, and carrying them by the scruff when they wandered too far. But as the weeks passed, differences emerged. At 6 weeks, when the puppy's eyes had been open for a month, Duma's had just begun to unseal, revealing stunning amber eyes with that distinctive feline intensity. While the puppies started playfully barking, Duma made chirping sounds mixed with tiny growls. The cub's claws, unlike the puppy's nails, were already razor-sharp and retractable. When the puppies began eating softened puppy food, Duma instinctively wanted meat, raw, bloody meat that Bella somehow understood her spotted baby needed. Dr. Helena watched nervously as Duma grew faster and stronger than the puppies. At 3 months, the leopard cub weighed nearly as much as its shepherd siblings, despite being younger. Its play became rougher, its predatory instincts emerging as it stalked and pounced on the puppies with increasing intensity. The puppies, incredibly, seemed to understand their sibling was different and adjusted their play accordingly, often ganging up to wrestle Duma to the ground in ways that would be dangerous with a true predator, but remained playful within this unique family. Bella remained the ultimate authority. When Duma got too aggressive, the mother dog would pin the cub with one massive paw and hold it until Duma submitted, belly up in the universal gesture of surrender. When the puppies picked on Duma for being different, refusing to let the cub join their games, Bella would discipline her biological children and deliberately include Duma, teaching all of them that family meant acceptance. The real test came at 5 months when Duma's predatory drive fully awakened. The center's free-roaming chickens had always been off limits, but one afternoon, Duma's instincts overrode training. The young leopard crouched, stalked, and then chased a hen across the yard. The staff froze, knowing this was the moment that would determine Duma's future. A leopard that killed domestic animals couldn't remain at the center. But before Duma could strike, Bella intervened. The mother dog, now 7 months into raising her spotted child, charged forward and placed herself between Duma and the chicken. She barked, a deep, authoritative sound, and stared down her adopted cub. Duma, caught between instinct and learned behavior, froze. Then, impossibly, the young leopard sat down, lowered its head, and released a sound somewhere between a whine and a chuff. The chicken escaped, and Duma never chased the center's domestic animals again. By 8 months, Duma weighed 70 pounds and was unmistakably a leopard. Sleek, powerful, with a coat of gold covered in perfect black rosettes. The puppies, now young dogs, had been adopted out to carefully selected homes where they would work as livestock guardians, but Duma remained with Bella, the two inseparable. The rehabilitation staff faced their hardest decision: what to do with a leopard raised by a dog. Traditional rehabilitation meant isolating Duma from Bella and slowly reintroducing wild behaviors, a process that would be traumatic for both animals. Release to the wild seemed impossible for a leopard that thought it was a dog. But Dr. Helena proposed something revolutionary: create a semi-wild environment where Duma could express natural behaviors while maintaining the bond with Bella. They constructed a 5-acre enclosure that mimicked natural leopard habitat: trees for climbing, rocks for sunning, a stream for drinking. But it also included a den where Bella could sleep safely and an area where the dog could retreat if needed. They introduced prey animals that Duma could hunt, awakening ancient instincts. Remarkably, the leopard adapted, learning to climb trees, stalk prey, and exhibit natural behaviors, but always returning to Bella at the end of the day. The bond deepened in unexpected ways. Bella, aging now at 4 years old, would rest in the shade while Duma hunted. The leopard would often bring kills back to share, laying prey at Bella's feet in a gesture that made zoologists worldwide take notice. When Bella was ill with an infection, Duma refused to leave her side for 3 days, grooming the dog with a rough tongue and sleeping pressed against her adoptive mother's body. News of the unusual pair spread globally. Researchers came to study their interaction, documenting behaviors never before recorded. The leopard displayed a unique combination of wild leopard instincts and learned dog behaviors, climbing trees like a cat, but responding to Bella's barks like a canine pack member. The cub learned to play bow like the puppies had, front legs stretched forward and rear end up, inviting Bella to chase games that the older dog indulged, despite her arthritis. At 18 months, Duma was fully grown, a magnificent leopard that should have seen Bella as prey, not family. Yet when visitors came to the center, they witnessed something that defied nature: a powerful predator grooming an elderly dog with tender care, the two sleeping intertwined, the leopard purr rumbling against the dog's steady heartbeat. Dr. Helena's controversial decision had created something unprecedented: not a domesticated leopard or a wild dog, but a family that transcended species boundaries. Duma would never be fully wild, but the leopard was healthy, expressing natural behaviors and living a life enriched by the most unlikely of mothers. When Bella finally passed at age 7, Duma mourned visibly, refusing food for days, calling out with plaintive sounds that mixed leopard and dog vocalizations. But the leopard carried forward the lessons learned: gentleness with those weaker, fierce protection of those loved, and the understanding that different didn't mean other. Duma still lives at the center, now paired with other rescued leopards, teaching staff that rehabilitation doesn't have one correct path. Sometimes the wildest animals need the tamest teachers, and sometimes a mother's love is the most powerful force in nature, stronger than instinct, fiercer than survival, crossing boundaries that science said couldn't be crossed. If this story of impossible love and chosen family moved you, hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible true stories that prove family isn't about who you were born to, it's about who refuses to leave your side.